Welcome to Born for the Trades, a home service podcast, and I'm your host, Mandeep. Today we have amazing guests, and this is again, I think, the second time uh, he's here. His name is Aaron Gaynor. Most of you know his name. Aaron Gaynor is the founder and CEO of Plumbers, Electricians, and HVAC Technicians. 94 million, pacing 94 million, and growing home service company based in Ohio. A master plumber and a true leader in the industry. Aaron's journey is one of the resilience and reinvention. After losing everything in 2007 crash, he rebuilt his business with purpose, grit, and unstoppable mindset. Today, he's a sought after speaker at major events like Pantheon Vertical Track, inspiring others in the trades with his powerful story of comeback, leadership, and scaling with intention. Aaron, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. That's a great introduction. I don't know who sent you all that, but that's great. That made me sound a lot bolder than I am, but I appreciate that. So thank
Oh,
you, man. Really great
yeah,
to be here. Appreciate being on the podcast for a second time, and uh, appreciate the friendship we've built over the last couple of years and the work that your business is doing for us. So thanks for having me.
yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful, like, for our friendship and everything, and relationships are everything to me. And I'm proud to, have you in my life. Like, if I need something, if I need anything, like, we are connected. And I think that's what I always look for. And thank you for being there always, Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
So for the audience, like, listeners, I know we did like, one podcast before just to like, give overview, your introduction, Aaron, like, uh, what's going on, like high level, like, this year with Eco Plumbers, with your purpose, vision, if you want to just share, and then we can dive into other stuff. That would be great.
Yeah, so this year our major focus is reorganizing a lot of the business too. We did that last year as we moved from 75 million to pacing out to about 94, 95 million this year is what our projections are showing. Set a goal decade ago. People are familiar with the story to build $100 million business in 1 decade. It looks like we're going to probably fall a little short, but hey, still a heck of accomplishment to set out. You know, over 10 years ago when I didn't even know businesses this size even were existed to scaling that business. For us, this year has been really about, getting back to the fundamentals of the business throughout
Yeah.
last year, building out our team for the future to what $100 million beyond looks like, what's 250 million look like as an organization, and what do we need to start doing to do that, while also really focusing back on just the trades. We redid our mission statement, which has always been our core business, but we redid it to simplify it. Build great tradespeople, advance their life, and win big. And so we really are just trying to get back to the core of what I am, a plumber by
Yeah.
trade, the trade, and making sure that our energy and effort is focused on building great tradespeople, people that do this work day in and day out. In our industry, that's plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and drain and sewer and stuff. But mostly, the idea is plumbing, electrical, and HVAC, and we just want to build the best that do that. And regardless of what trade you're in, we should be working to build great tradespeople. And then on top of that was just advance their life, making sure that at the same time that as we're building these great tradespeople, we're also finding ways to advance their life in general. And
Right.
through whatever that is, through paid programs, through education, through other areas that we could do that to make their life better, make their life better for being great tradespeople and contributing to our business. And then win big. And win big would be, taking your business from 75 to, maybe 95 million, win big together, win big as an organization, celebrate those wins, um, while also making sure winning big is taking care of your community, your customers, all the
Yeah.
people in that area. So I think that was a big initiative for us this year, just to reconnect with that. And I have it right here on the wall. You can see off to the side. I have it up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
then, and then we just really focus on kind of realigning our team and how we operate each day through our guiding principles this year. And these things have been there. They just needed some adjustments, some freshening up to them, and really getting buy-in and purpose to them. And I think in the age where we are, to be able to make sure that we have connection with our workforce and our workforce feels connected to the organization is
Yeah.
very important. Especially when we think about the age, like we just did analyzed our workforce. Our median age um, is pretty much under 30. So
Hmm.
all of our employees are pretty much under 50% of our workforce
Wow.
is under the age of, I think right now, about 30 years old.
Wow.
So like
Impressive.
that's big, right? But we are bringing new tradespeople into this industry, which was one of my missions for the trades that saved my life, which many people that may listen to this or hear me around the industry before know that that's the case, right? So
Right.
that's been my focus. I don't know if I answered exactly what you
No,
wanted, but that's what we've been doing this year, and we still have some work to do to get that right.
yeah, absolutely. No, no, I think that was like, perfect. I know we talked about like, a lot of things in the past, and you just mentioned about like education. I know education is like, big thing for you, and you have Eco University too. And good to hear that a lot of people are working. Those are like, under 30. That's impressive. I would say like, if you want to just share, what's like eco university and what are the initiatives that you have taken this year for the trades.
Yeah, so this year big for us is like we're really only into our third official year. We've been in HVAC for 4 years, but the first year we just got our license holder. We were setting up stuff, doing stuff. So we're really only into our third year of HVAC this year. So this year was really about building out our HVAC workforce, right? So we had 20 people go through our school to be maintenance techs, just to run our membership base, right?
Right.
So we had to bring them in, train them, teach them from ground zero. Very few of these people had any HVAC experience at all. And so we really had to work on that because we weren't had the ability to just find all these maintenance techs in the marketplace, right? So
Right.
that was a big initiative to us to really get those people through the program, educate, do that. And we had did a smaller maintenance class earlier in the year,
Hmm.
uh, but it was really small. It was like 8 or 9 people to try to run a beta test on it. What does it look like to do that? Then we had a big group, and then we just graduated 18 plumbers too through the school.
Oh,
So
wow.
in the month of July, we actually ended up putting 41 trucks on the road
41
July.
like additional
41 new
41.
trucks on, yeah, 41 new trucks on the road in July. So like we had a lot of building workforce and growing people and developing them in the first half of the year that we hope that will contribute in the second half. We also invested in a lot more of training, getting back to fundamentals, through our next star routes, also
Nice.
through service system, install system, some of our sales system stuff that we use from Nexstar in the trainings and models there, but really creating those into a little bit of our own, owning more of our own of that, and bringing in our own in-house trainer that trains these all the time and runs these programs and does the training and facilitating for that. And then on top of that, another thing that we really needed to find a gap from not just EcoU but education in general was
Right.
how do we develop management?
Yeah.
And this is an area I think this is actually the biggest hole in our industry isn't
Yeah.
so much finding workforce in the university. I think we've started to figure that out in the industry somewhat, as how to develop people into the trades, run them through a trade school program. What is that stuff? We're still struggling. Like, how do you really take a tech or somebody that's a frontline or a frontline manager, first time service manager, and then develop them all the way through. So we really
Right.
built in some leadership training this year through um, Jack Tester, who's our VP of leadership development, and we've done that, and through our HR and through some other people have really worked towards that and building out those programs and then bringing people in. So every month we call it a manager mixer. We bring everybody in, all the frontline managers, no matter what level, all together into one room. And we do 3.5 hours of basically manager
Oh,
mixing. This is around
that's
leader
amazing. And that's
development,
and that's
management
in-house.
development.
Everything is
That's
in-house.
in-house. All this is in-house. So this has been a big investment in ours from last year into this year
Right.
to really build that team out. So all of this is in-house. It's all self-funded by us, and all the training is developed, as I mentioned, through our Nexstar roots and what
Right.
Nexstar has done for us, and we're still our member of Nexstar, and then from that into what we consider the eco way today.
That's amazing. Like, investing in team, like your people, I think that's the way to do it to stay ahead of the game so that they know the best practices out there before they, hit anyone's house. Making sure like, they are certified from your university. That's a great, great initiative. Love it. And I was talking to someone today and for a marketing strategy, and they just wanted like, leads. They like the owner he was completely off the track. He had no purpose, like want to just generate the leads, gonna like make money. And I was like, okay, I was talking to my head of growth and the strategy that there is no purpose, right? So I want to bring like this topic like just for a minute here. we talked about this in the past. Like how how would you like describe like, purpose, that word, and how has it like driven your business and personal reinvention?
Yeah, so I think there's a difference between purpose and passion, right? And
Yeah.
I'm a purpose-driven person than a passion person. I think you get passionate about your purpose, but
Hmm.
to me, purpose sticks, a passion comes and goes. A lot
Yeah.
of people get passionate about certain things and they lose interest. A purpose is I have a purpose to do this thing in my life and it resonates with me. And your purpose can change in life too over time as you mature or change in chapters of your life and where they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my initial purpose was to build something great for my son, right?
Right.
And to build a better life. And that was the simplification of it, right? And then it came to as I wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, which is people have heard me talk about. If you've heard me
Yeah.
on any other podcast stuff, that changed my life. It really gave me the idea of like all these fundamentals about purpose, right? And define the definitions of purpose in your life. And the next one was grow a $100 million business that creates opportunity for people in the trades, right?
Yeah.
And that was the purpose, right? And then to go to work to do that. And as you just put your head down and go to work on your purpose, all these other things start to find their way to you, because purpose matters because people want to work with purpose driven businesses. And that's what I was saying about reconnecting with the workforce through
Yeah.
our areas. Like we need to make
Right.
sure that our business isn't just a business; it's a movement. And a movement is a
Yeah.
purpose, right? And a
Yeah.
movement to build great tradespeople, advance their lives, and win big is a movement, right? And to me, that's where I'm really focused on right now as an organization. As we get to this size, it's harder to keep that movement alive
Right.
as the business changes and you're bringing in a lot of new people and there's not people that have been with you from the beginning and gets fragmented and we're in different cities and different markets and so like things start to happen there. So really, I think a purpose drives you to, a
Yeah.
purpose is you'll get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and come in, right? You'll grind it out, you'll work late, you'll stay late, as an owner, and you'll get people that believe in the purpose will do the same. But you also have to have realistic expectations of people, right? People aren't going to care about your business as much as you do,
Right.
right?
Right.
But
That's
they can
true.
care. But they can care, and they can care a lot, and they can be supportive. They can do stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then finding ways to make sure that they benefit from the long-term outcome of the business too, right? And I
Right.
think that's another thing. They're just trying to really make sure that people that are in this business with us and care about it and do it benefit from the longevity of what we accomplish. So I think purpose-driven business is important,
Yeah.
uh, for me at least, and for our team. And I do think it is important for the workforce, whether it's the technicians, call center, dispatch, or marketing team, everything, because then they know what they're doing it for and why,
Right.
besides just get me leads to make money.
Right. Right. That's powerhouse. That's powerhouse. And again, if you have a purpose, you're passionate about it, and you have like you're driving the workforce, but at the same time, you are achieving their goals as well because they also have a purpose, right? I
For
know
sure.
they won't like, go hard as you as the owner, but at least like, you have shown them the purpose so that they can also achieve their goals at eco, and that's why they are part of like, this journey, this mission, right?
Yeah, that's the objective, right? And
Yeah.
have we done that good all the time? No, we've gone up and down on that. We've lost connection sometimes, regained connection. But yeah,
Yes.
at the end of the day, is like what I want to understand is like here's what our purpose is to do that, and then everybody has their own purpose, and it may not be to own a business, it may be to do something else, but working somewhere can help drive that purpose, right? Whether that's to buy a house,
Right.
start a family,
Yeah.
save money for your family. Maybe you're young and or we've had a lot of people that have become citizens, that have come to work here because they're trying to make a better life for themselves. Whether
Yeah.
that's helping pay for something for your family because they haven't been able to afford those things. There's so many different reasons, right?
So many different.
Or
Yeah.
whether it's just for yourself to prove something to yourself that you can build a career and build an opportunity for yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you got to be able to connect with that. And one of the things that I've recently have got from a lot of our teams is their stories, like stories about this. So I share mine with them, and I've been sending more emails out about the business and where we want to go and do stuff to communicate with the team. And I've
Yeah.
got a lot of emails back from people saying, "Hey, this business, this eco has changed my life. It's done this for me. It's done that for me. I want to
Yeah.
share my story." And I learned a lot about a lot of people's stories in our organization that, frankly, I should have known more about. But
Yeah.
I'm happy that they shared it to us. And so I'm trying to find more ways to figure out how do I understand who our workforce is today,
Hmm.
What are their purposes? Where did they come from? And what do they want? Because if I can get them what they want, we'll get what we want at the same time, right? Because it's a two-way path. So again, that's kind of what the whole part of, I guess, point of this conversation has been, right? Is figuring out, reconnecting with them in a way and understanding that everybody has a story
Yeah.
and nobody's story is grander than somebody else. Of course, some people go through things, but each person's story is relevant to them, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
understanding where they came from, where they're going through, and what they're doing. And most people who join the trades didn't come from millionaire families, didn't come from a great background, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities. Not always the case, but there's a lot of similarities to trade people.
Right.
And regardless, of age, where you've come from in the trades, younger, generational stuff, right? There's a lot of similarities in the trade, and I think the trade can give that opportunity to people to build a better life.
Love it. Love it. Amazing, amazing future out there and with amazing leader like you. And same thing here. I think it gives me massive happiness inside when my team is buying their dream car, house. I was there at Matt's house. Matt, we did the video
Yeah,
production together. He bought a house and I spent 3 days at his place. We created a lot of content and it's an amazing feeling. The guy started from working at Amazon warehouse
I
and
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, living his dream. And I think yeah, that makes as an entrepreneurs, you and I, that makes us happy. We're driven by purpose and making sure others are achieving their goals as well. So love it, Aaron.
Yeah, I think I'll say one other thing on this. Like what I realized as this journey has gone along is I always
Yeah,
wanted to tell my story because I wanted to inspire others.
yeah,
But what I've realized now is hearing other people's stories
yeah,
inspires me, right?
yes, yeah.
And in my own organization, to hear that people are doing things or becoming better has now reinvigorated me differently than me just telling them about my story.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's more, yeah, that's major and more impactful.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. You gave me goosebumps. So, yeah, and I wanted to touch base on that personal development. I think yeah, you have done some wild personal development. Tony Robinson, 14 ERS, 14 years, even running with the Bulls, right?
Yeah, I've
How,
done
right?
yeah, ran with the Bulls. Yeah, went ran with the Bulls. That was a amazing experience. Did back-to-back mountains
Like,
before. I've done the Tony Robbins walk on fire, I've done all those things to try to, to push myself in different areas. Could I do some more probably extreme things? Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, I think all of those things going to, events and seminars and getting myself out there in the world. I wasn't, I think I naturally, I think had always been able to somewhat speak well, but, even
yeah,
speaking at a conference in front of people and doing stuff was getting myself out of my comfort zone.
yeah,
That was more of a structured conversation. I'm used to just kind of free flowing, like a
yeah.
panel conversation. So doing those things. So yeah, I think there's this opportunity. I think life is genuinely about reinventing yourself at different chapters.
Love it.
You have to be able to reinvent yourself when you need to. And I think from going from, a plumber that joined the trades in 1997
Hmm.
to where I am in 2025, like I've had to reinvent myself a lot in that journey.
Yeah.
Uh, and that doesn't mean getting rid of who I am. It means reinventing who I could potentially be. Uh,
Right.
like educating myself, going to trainings, connecting, having a great network with
Yeah.
the guys in the LSD group that we have a text thread that we're always talking and supporting each other and sharing information. Great relationships with them, and they inspire me. I mean, their businesses and things that they've done, which I know you know all those guys too. But like, so those are great things. But I wasn't going to get in that position if I didn't reinvent myself over the journey and make myself somebody that people wanted to connect with, right?
Right.
At the same
Right.
time. So I think that's what you're saying here. And I
Yeah.
think it's important to be on a journey of reinventing yourselves and seeing
Reinventing,
yourselves.
I think these
Yeah,
experiences that you have in the past, right, translated into amazing leadership role, and you keep reinventing, and I think that's required. I put myself into challenges, I have done a lot of leadership programs, and if I'm not doing it, then how can I lead my team? How can
great.
I be part of the vision? And you have to be the role model, and I see you have been doing it, so proud of you. And you mentioned about the events, right? You have been part of Pantheon, Vertical Track, Tommy Mellows, right? And what's one piece of advice you gonna give it to aspiring leaders in the industry that you wish you had heard earlier?
You know, I always get that question. Like people like, I had a guy text me today that owns
Yeah.
a business. His text was like, "What would you tell Aaron Gaynor in 2015?"
Hmm.
And this is a guy that I know he started his own business in this area. And I was like, all right, I got two quick answers, I guess. Even though I'm not a good fan of, I'm not a love fan of going back and rewinding because all the lessons I had were the lessons I needed. Right.
Right.
And I said two things to him. I said, one, don't be so anxious to open up new locations. Second one, invest in more leadership development.
Hmm.
So, earlier on, like I told you, we've been doing a lot of it now. We've done it over time, but we
Right.
probably didn't invest enough of it at the same time when we're scaling. And as the business is scaling like this, at a very fast track, people were kind of scaling slower than the business growth, right? And it caught
Right.
up. We were pumping so much energy into, you know, the frontline workforce and the growth and the marketing and all these other things. We're still building leaders, but we weren't building them fast enough, right?
Right.
To
Yeah.
develop. And then we also could have been better at bringing in other talent. So, I think each person can have a different view on it. I've always believed in the ideas like if I go back and tell myself back then, I guess right now, let's say,
Yeah.
stay the course of what you're doing because it worked out.
Wow. Yeah. That's
Right? It
yeah.
worked out. It
Yeah. Yeah.
worked out. I had to go through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of struggles. I mean, most people from the outside might look through this over the last 10 years and go, well, Aaron, you grew your business from, basically 2 million to almost 100 million. Things couldn't have gone that wrong. Well, they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's
They
been
don't
many
know the
struggles,
story. Like
and
people
there's a
just
lot
look
of
at
things that have happened in there, right? And
a lot.
I
Yeah.
guess what I'd go back and tell myself is just stay the course, man, because you ended up achieving, you ended up pretty much achieving what you wanted to. Is there all these little nuanced things you could have done? Yeah, could have probably stayed more focused on this or that, but maybe that needed to happen for me. So each journey is different.
Right.
But I can say this one thing for certain is never stop investing in yourself.
Never
I can say
stop.
that for certain, right? For certain
Hmm.
is never stop investing in yourself, never stop educating yourself, never stop learning, never stop reading, never stop communicating, never stop networking, never stop building friendships with people
Right.
that are ambitious and growing. Never stop those, right? So I would say
Right.
that that's important. And I
Keep
think we all
learning.
have chapters in our life where we're more engaged in those and then we are in other times. And I can
Yeah.
tell you, anytime I've slowed down on those things, I have felt the pain
Felt the
from
pain. Yeah. Same
yep,
here. Like, yeah.
yep,
I want to give a special shout out to Rilla, the sales coaching AI software that holds the technicians accountable and gives them the support and guidance they need to maximize all the opportunities you spend your hard earned money on.
I want to give special shout out to Grow Reviews, one of our sponsors, America's first platform to capture instant text and video reviews. If a picture is 1,000 words, a video is worth a million. Book a demo with Grow Reviews by visiting website www.growreviews.com and you can get in touch with their sales reps to book a demo. That's amazing. And always learning, networking, friendships. Like I'm all about friendships and keep investing in yourself. Like I think this is what like you're right on. That's the way to keep growing. And I wanted to like touch base on something about the challenges, right? We were talking about from the outside perspective, people look at it like eco plumbers have gone like, massively, that you guys have got massive success, but people don't understand the pains, challenges. And I'm sure you had it, I had it, like everyone, they go through with it. Sometimes, people are stuck. Those who are listening to this podcast, they might be stuck at point, maybe 2 million, they're not passing it. Maybe at 5 million, they're not crossing it. How did you how did you navigate like all the challenges in the past, and maybe still if you have any, feel free to share with
yeah,
us.
yeah. Navigating new challenges, right? Like how
Right.
do I run $100+ million business, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like how do I revamp all of our meetings? Like we've used EOS, but frankly, like at this size, EOS is starting to become not the same way as an entrepreneurial operating system, right? Of how you run your meetings and do stuff. Things have changed. Data is heavier. There's multiple locations, different marketing strategies for different markets, right? And
Yeah.
some of it still comes together. So right now, yeah, we're in a challenge of what's the next evolution of that to be able to build our business out. And I think things break at certain levels. Like getting to your first $1 million, right? It's like,
Right.
wow. And then you're getting to your first 5 million, and then 10, and then I'd say 20. And then somewhere between, let's call it 20 and 50, there's a massive breakdown, right? Lots of stuff happens. Like just
Yeah.
people really struggle in that area.
Mhm.
They really struggle to get to if they can't get their first million, and then somewhere between the million and 10, and a lot of people hit the $10 million wall, and then it's just development, right? Because now you need to manage managers, and most
Right.
people don't understand to manage managers, and managing managers is a whole different thing, right? Than it is
Right.
just managing your workforce and kind of point being the conductor all the time. Do this, do that, do this. Now you got to manage all these other relationships, and then you have the techs. So I guess the simplification again is back to what we just talked about. It's like you have to invest in yourself. You have to go to leadership training. You have to go join a network, whether that's
Right.
Nexstar, which I'm a big advocate of that. If you're in that area and you're in plumbing, HVAC, electrical, you should be in Nexstar, or you should be in Home Service Freedom has a great one. Tommy's program has a lot of great stuff for people at
Yes.
that size base, right now.
Yes.
So and I'm not saying that because there's things I gain from that. I don't gain anything from saying that about either one of those networks, but I can
Yeah.
promise you those networks work. They
Yeah.
work because you're getting relationships with people at the same size as you. See, sometimes I think what happens is we want to go talk to me. Let's use me for an example here,
Yeah.
and I'm
No, you
$5
did.
million or I'm $3 million, and I want to go talk to me. And I can tell you the stuff I did, but I'm not living in the same world anymore. And hopefully that doesn't come off the wrong way. You need to talk to people who are in the same world, challenges, or maybe just a little level above. So if you're at
Yeah.
3, you really want to talk to 10 to understand what's going on there. Now, you do want to come talk to me to understand the big, broad picture. But when I was in that area, I was talking to guys way up here. And then I was also talking to the guys that were, here doing it, right? So I can understand,
Right.
well, what are you doing right now? What do I need for the next step? Sometimes we try to go way up and we try to get feedback from somebody that's, so many steps away from us. You can aspire and want to do that. And I did that through Dave Geiger with Horizon. Was definitely like a guy that was just so kind and nice. And I looked at
Yeah.
him. I remember being at a Nexstar event, and I was like, one day I'm going to grow business to
Yeah.
100 million. This is the beginning. And he comes on the screen, goes, we're growing our business 250 million. I was like, damn, I feel like the loser already. But he was always, always very open and inspiring to me to have like a plumber that I see did those things. And you got guys out there in the market like Ken Goodrich and Tommy
Yeah.
Mello, who's done amazing stuff. Leland. I mean, you could go on with the list of guys, right? And you should aspire to be with that, be what they've done,
Yeah.
but you also should be very relatable to people that are around the same vibe and then communicate with them. So hopefully that makes sense, answers your
No,
question.
no, totally, totally makes sense. And I think, yeah, I think that networking, making sure that you are not afraid to ask for help. And I think sometimes people they meet at the events, right? All these like, those who have like made it, like
Yeah.
they're doing good, and they're afraid to actually reach out to them to ask for help. And I think I think all the home service owners, like, those who are listening to this podcast, reach out to Aaron, reach out to Tommy,
Yeah.
reach out to Ishmael, Ken Goodrich. I have never seen they're not replying to me or saying no. Hey, Mandeep, you need help with this? Yeah, let's talk. Let's fly. Let's come out, like hang out, and
For
I
sure.
think that's the part of, like, home service industry. I think someone reached out to me. I think they crushed it. I think they're doing 15 million. They really want to add plumbing. And I mentioned your name, and they said, can I just go up, fly out from California to Ohio and just like maybe spend 2 days? I was like, why not? I'll connect you. And Aaron won't say no, right? Like,
Yeah, no, we have people come here all the time and do this stuff. And, like I tell them, I said, I'm not always able to spend a lot of time, but I always will spend some time with them. And then I'll let them spend time with our team, our call center, our dispatch, our teams. Like, I agree. This industry is more open than I think people think.
yeah,
Lots of people answered my calls and took my questions
yeah,
when I was coming up, right? And so
yeah,
I want to return that. And I think that's important. And you have guys like Chad Peterman, who does open tour shops and brings you around. I
yeah,
mean, go to that, go there. And we're building a new building here, which will open next year. So we'll start to have some more tour shops for people too, bringing people here. Tommy, I was at Tommy's just a couple weeks ago. He does a tour shop, which he does a great job putting that on and communicating that to people. And he just walks them through, shows them what they're doing, gives them some highlight stuff. So yeah, they're available. For sure. And what I've realized from our friends and the people I know in this industry is we enjoy doing that too, because it
yeah,
reinvigorates us. It reminds us of stuff. And it gets us thinking too, again, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, damn, maybe we've missed that now.
Yeah,
We've been so
exactly.
far away from something here or there that we're missing that. So, yeah, I agree. I really think so. My point wasn't to discourage people from talking to people, like, I guess I'd consider people with larger businesses in general, because you can
Yeah.
learn a lot, but also don't devalue the idea of working with people similar or
Yeah.
one step above you as an opportunity. And same with you. If you're 10 million and you can help a 5 million, trust me, the more you teach, the more you learn, because it'll reinforce yourself too, right? If
Reinforce.
you're at 20, you
Yes.
do this, it'll do that. And then you say stuff. And I remember this all the time. I'd be like, man, I just said that. And it's like, and I have to be like, you know what? I said that. And that's our intent to do, but we
Yeah.
haven't actually been doing that right. So actually, I need to go revisit that myself again. And I think that's what it is. So the more you teach, the more you learn, and then it reinforces what you need to do to yourself. So hopefully that's what I really
That's
meant. That didn't come off properly.
no, no, no.
Maybe.
This came perfect. Like, teach, learn, reinforce. Actually, this is going to shape as a person. Like, whoever is like, teaching,
Yeah.
it's gonna help them as well. But that's powerhouse. Last thing we're gonna talk about AI. A lot of things are happening as you and I we are working,
Yeah.
on a lot of things with AI overview, Reddit strategy. It's a lot going with the website SEO now. SEO is there, but now AEO is there, which is answer engine optimization. If you have like, content on your website in the form of FAQs, frequently asked questions, you're gonna be the option, right? Just like, please share with the world, like, what's happening with AI and what home service owners they should take like, steps right now to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, I mean, so there's so many options to look at AI, right? So it's depending on where you want it. Do you want, for AI for search? For sure. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's inevitable. Like, I mean, you've been talking about this for probably, I don't know, over a year or something, right? And starting to
Yes.
build the website to this. And that's one of the reasons why we moved a lot of our website, or moved all of our website stuff to you, to really say, hey, this is where I want to go. This is how we see the world right now and see the future, and let's start building towards that, right? And
Right.
AI was one of the reasons we look for that, and then frequently asked questions and figuring out how to be more of a website based upon answering questions
Yeah.
versus just searching, right?
Right.
And I think we're in that evolution now, and your team has helped do a lot of that, and some of the stuff we've asked for from you guys. And then I think there's just a lot more content driven stuff that you and I spend a lot of time talking about too, is
Yeah.
getting more content. There's a, I don't know, I think there's a great book called The Endless Customer,
Hmm.
that I think people should really consider reading. Um, and just really talks about the evolution of where this is all going to zero click. Like 80 something percent of people get content from video, right? So there's a big area here that I think we've been moving on, but probably still haven't been as advanced as we should. And I think you know that, Andy, from my
Yes.
conversations with you. So a lot of it has been, hey, these are where I think we need to go, but we haven't maybe moved as fast on some of that stuff. But we had a whole rebuild of a site that we had to start and build everything out
Yeah.
everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Um,
At least the foundation
so
foundation is right and
yeah,
massive amount of content out there, AI visibility, like, initiatives. Now Reddit is back, like because Google and Reddit they had like $60 million deal.
yeah,
I shared something on like, Facebook yesterday. These are the hacks, implement and then you're gonna start showing up. In the entire United States, if you search for AC repair in your X city, Reddit is coming up. So these
yes.
these are the things, it's already there. You gotta act right away.
Yeah, and these are things like when I called you up, I was like, "Hey, let's take a look at these. What could we do?" And you're like, "Here's
Yeah,
some ideas. Here's some stuff." And
yeah,
we've been back and forth between each other and your team on some of these areas. So, look, it's inevitable.
yeah,
I'm not going to claim myself to be an expert in this space, but it's inevitable that if you're not doing something to build your site, um, build your business around AI search, you're going to
yeah,
be in trouble. You're going to be left behind, and you're just not going to show up. And I mean, I've even found myself, and everything I do now is totally changed the way we search. I definitely ask way more questions now today with Gemini and Chat GPT and all this stuff, right? So it's
yeah,
changing already, right in your own hands. You don't even realize it. You're already doing it differently, right?
yeah.
Like, so, you like, and I voice it, and I use voice search now for everything pretty
Voice
much,
search. Yeah,
right?
voice
So
voice search.
I
Yeah,
don't type in now, who's the top plumber in Columbus, right? Like,
yeah,
and even if you did, you might ask that question. So it's just it's changing, and I don't think people really even fundamentally uh notice it themselves. Their own behavior has changed, and they're probably not even
Yes.
realizing it's changed to it, right? So, but if you don't realize that you're doing this or you're not doing this, but it's going to come and it's all going to happen, and you better be in pretty good position for it because the way SEO I think works today and the way search works today is
It's totally.
inevitably going to be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never gonna be gone, but it's changed. Like, if you're
Yeah.
not evolving, then that's something like, it's very scary position to be in. And if I just look at it, if I search who is Aaron Gaynor, like it's gonna show up. Like, you are the owner of Eco Plumbers, and what is grow nearby, what is born for the trades. Like it literally shows up, not just because that you have a website, because you have worked on the brand, right? Branding
Yes.
is not about just logo. Like you have put out a lot of content, you have been part of like a lot of like events, communities, and I think that's all content like what Google is looking at it, that okay, these guys have like a lot of authentic information, and you show up, your services, your pages will show up, and zero click traffic. I'm like, my mind gets blown like away when I see that people are not going even to the website, and they're just calling from like Google
Yep.
without clicking on the website. That zero click traffic is
Yeah.
happening. Yeah.
Zero click traffic is happening, and you've got to figure out how to be in that position for that. So I think that area of AI is fundamentally changing fast and quick. And then you have the other part of AI, which is support AI for your business, right? Whether that's AI call center support, whether that's
Right.
AI using technology to help support your team, cause more efficiencies, be more efficient, helping you search data, fundamental things that your business can do on repeat. I think that area is starting to grow more too. So I think all of those are areas to do stuff. So I think you got to be in the game for it, for sure.
Yeah.
But also want to tell people, be careful not to chase them all down, right?
Yeah.
Try to chase it all down too gets dangerous, right? Too.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of pick something and focus on that and do that. It's a hot trend right now. And we're in it. Don't get me wrong, we're in it. And
Yeah.
we're in it. We're looking at all of this stuff. We're doing all the things within reason too. But I'm also trying to make sure that we're not just chasing every new thing pop up, right? Let some things
Yeah.
develop, do some stuff. But I will say some of the fundamental areas that you can't get behind on is probably in your website, in your
Love it.
search, these areas, right?
Love it.
Right?
Love it. Like, yeah, fun.
If you
Yeah,
get
go ahead.
behind,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, if you don't have an AI call center, not the end of the world right away, right? If you don't have an AI this, bot to do this thing, probably not the end of the world. But if they can't find you because you're getting smoked by everybody else now in this search
Yeah.
area, and I still believe very big, very big in overall branding message too, which is
Yes.
not the same maybe we're saying here, but you can do that through content, which I think we want to do. But we spend a lot of money in mass media. I think we want to be careful that we're not overly dependent on Google or
Yes.
Bing or any of the new search stuff that are coming up, um, or even YouTube to find us, right? You need to use mass media still as your friend,
Yes.
in general, and I think that people that build brands will win.
Yeah, build brands. Yeah, it's like, not just relying on like, one source, but
Yeah.
multiple channels, even traditional, right? If you can afford, if you can invest in like, TV, radio, billboards, direct mail,
It's a
like
stack. It's a stack. You got to stack it. It's still a stack. And I mean, we know Google AdWords expenses have climbed significantly over the years to
yeah,
buy an AdWord, right? For the trades and for every industry. And I mean, they're just constantly getting more and more and more. And the ROI return on those are getting tougher and tougher, right?
yeah,
So it's just understanding that you got to stack this stuff. So I've always told people when they talk to me about, well, what should I do? I said, what you should do is build a 3-year marketing plan and understand what it is, build a
yeah,
true plan, and then stick to it for 3 years. And that's what we did when we went from 8 million to 12 million to 21 million, is we
yeah,
built a 3-year marketing plan and we stayed the course. Most
yeah,
people don't stay the course because they lose interest in it or the cost starts to pile up on them and they feel the pain, so they bail fast, right?
right.
Um, so you just got to stay the course.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, amazing, wisdom out there, and make sure you follow the plan. A lot of shiny object syndromes, like shiny objects gonna be there,
Yeah.
and we talked about, right, like when it comes to AI, Rilla, Avoca, Broccoli AI, you can get into it, you can use those tools out there, but first of all, you need to make sure that you're building brand your foundation is right with the website, content, your systems, processes. We have implemented, I think we have installed 90% of EOS, and you guys have done that too. We have level 10 meetings. We
Yeah.
dig into issues, IDS, and if you want to talk about just maybe just 1 minute on EOS, if people are not aware of that, Aaron, since you have also implemented.
Yeah, so I said earlier in this podcast, like we've been built on EOS, but I feel like one of the things that's breaking is EOS for us now, right? But
Yeah.
EOS is a great entrepreneurial operating system. It gives you a structure to run your business, and that's really a lot of times what people need as you're scaling your business is some structure, right? And that
Right.
structure allows you to, have a headlines. You look at your headlines, you go through your scorecard, you find your to-dos out of that, you get your issues and your IDS issues, which then you identify and discuss, right? And solve. And then you get your team to just kind of work around those things. And that fundamental is not going away. What I'm saying is, as we've scaled, it's just becoming a little bit different. Again, things break. One of my things that I mentioned breaking was
Right.
how do you run EOS on a size of a business that starts to become this size? Because it is an entrepreneurial operating system, right? And you want people in your business to be entrepreneurial, but you can't have everybody be entrepreneurial.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so at some point, when everybody's trying to be over entrepreneurial, what they're doing is they're just finding too many problems to try to solve. And it's
Right.
like, well, at some point, these are the initiatives that we need to attack as an organization, and we want to hear from everybody what could be better. But we're trying to keep them more around the initiatives, which would maybe be rocks in the US
Yes.
model. But
Yes.
but we're trying to do more giant initiatives to move the needle over time while still allowing operation. But look, EOS is great. I had an implementer for years. I learned a lot. There's a lot of great things in the US. So if you're a small business growing, or even a
Yeah.
mid-sized business, like you should have an operating system. And I think and then because those fundamentals will grow the business more than any AI tool, right? And
Yes.
look, I like all the AI, all the ones you mentioned are all ones I've used or are using,
Yeah.
right? So, but again, like fundamental practices still matter. That's why one of our guiding principles that we decided to move towards,
Yeah.
again, for clarity, is first things first. What are the
Yeah.
first things that matter in the organization? And I think also think about things that I like this. I heard this one time, I think from Jeff Bezos, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe so. Think
Yeah.
about what things aren't going to change in the next 10 years,
Mm.
right? And I
Yeah.
think about that with our team when I talk sometimes, like, what are the things that are not going to change in the next 10 years? Okay, so that's not going to change. Let's make sure we really know how to do that really, really well, because that's not going to change. One thing
Right.
that's not going to change in the next 10 years is how to organize people,
Right. Yeah. That's
right?
powerhouse. Yeah.
And organizing people organize and work for purpose-driven business because they're humans, right?
Right.
But what
Right.
may change is how you book a call,
Yeah. How you
right?
book a
What
call.
may
Yeah.
change is how you monitor your sales team through Rilla. What may change is this, right? But without that fundamental that doesn't change, you've got nothing. You'll
Right.
start, I'll say nothing, but you start to really lose that. So make sure you put your energy on the things that, I mean, when you have that, it's like, this isn't going to change, so let's do that. And these are the things that could change in our industry. I don't think in the next 10 years, robots will be doing our work. Now, and going into a home and doing the work, right?
Mhm.
It's just fundamentally challenging. But what I do think is AI will support the workforce more than ever in 10 years,
Yes. I love it.
right?
Love it. AI
So
is
what I
going to
do think
support.
is it'll be faster to get people to trade using something like Bluon or something, or you can get information about this or do that, and AI will be more supportive
Yeah.
to the technician, but it's not going to eliminate technicians needing to know how to use their hands and do the work, right? So,
Right.
I mean, those are the things I think are important to understand.
Right. AI, looking at like AI not as a threat, but looking as a like, supporting system to make you more efficient by applying like, there are so many things in AI to make you efficient, to make your business efficient,
Yeah.
to grow at faster rate, not looking as a threat. You got to understand what exactly is AI. So that's
For sure.
powerhouse.
I still haven't found a perfect. I mean, we use the AI for booking calls now, but I still haven't found one that perfectly books the call without a human. Sometimes need to be behind the scenes,
Yeah.
updating, fixing things, changing things properly, right? But
Yeah.
has it supported the fact that we don't miss any calls anymore and we are booking calls and doing stuff? Yes. But has it solved the problem 100% by itself? No.
Yeah. But it is like actually helping. But
It is
yeah.
helping. Yeah,
So
it's helping. That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. It's a support tool. I think
Support
that's what
tool.
people need to understand. It's a support tool,
It's
right?
a
At least
support
at
tool.
this point in time. I don't think it'll take over everything. I think AI will be able to book a call in the next 10 years. Yes. Without
Yeah.
a human element. Yeah. Will AI be able to support the idea of a customer service complaint? Yes, within reason. At some
Yeah.
point, you'll still need somebody to do things, right? And dispatch in other areas. But so I guess that's what I'm trying to fundamentally say. What won't change in the next, or even the next 5 years? Like
Yeah.
when you're thinking about these things.
That's amazing. Yeah. I I hope like all the listeners, like, you have taken some notes, and feel free to reach out to Aaron. And Aaron, are you going to be part of any events? Those are coming. Event season is out there. We are going to three
So I'm going to
events.
be going to events. I've kind of decided this year to step back from doing any panels. I'm going to do
Okay.
panel of freedom because Tommy and the LSD guys there do
Next
some
next
stuff there.
month.
But
Next month.
yeah, in Las Vegas. So I'll be there
Yeah.
in Vegas. If you got anybody listen to the podcast, stop by, say hi. I'll be around. I'm going to come observe and learn and sit in the crowd and be part of the people learning from others and doing that. I'll be at Pantheon, and I'll be at Super Meeting. And those are the
Oh,
ones that I at least have
awesome.
on
Hmm.
my my agenda this year. And I'll be there and come up, say hi, ask any questions. Love to hear from people, what's working, what's not.
Mm-hmm.
Share some positive stuff too. Business industry.
Exactly.
I love to hear good stories too. And
Yeah.
if you have some questions or concern, hopefully I can answer them for you.
Yeah, awesome. We're gonna be there at Service Home Freedom next month in Vegas, and Pantheon, that's in LA, I guess. And then
Yeah, it's in Anaheim.
and
Anaheim.
Anaheim. And then
Yep.
I think Service World Expo again in Vegas. So just three events, and I'm sure we're gonna connect there as well. I'll be there with my
For
team.
sure.
And quickly, I just want to thank like our sponsors, Rilla, and Grow Reviews. Thank you, thank you for like supporting our podcast. And those who don't know about Rilla, make sure you guys like go out and check out the website. Virtual ride-alongs, speech to AI analytics, how to make like your like A players better, B players more better. That's amazing tool out there, and Grow Reviews to get like instant text and video reviews from that platform. And again, I want to thank you, Aaron, coming. Thanks for coming to my podcast again, and thanks for the friendship, relationship, and we'll keep connecting on like new ideas that we always brainstorm, and let's
Yeah.
crush it. Let's make it happen with 100 million, and then next goal, I don't know what's your crazy goal. Maybe next is 250 or 200. Yeah, we should
Yeah, that's a little further out. Next year we're going for 120 million. But
100.
so you got some work to do.
120. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely doable. I'm sure you will achieve it with the right team. With the US, they say right people on the right seats, own your seat. And yeah, that's the way to do it. And I look forward to connecting with you, meeting you in person next month. And
Yeah.
again, thank you for coming on my show.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure, my man.
Thank you.